JKL Live is sponsored by Telkom, or rather powered by Telkom. Telkom, moving with you. Grand Mullah still in the house, and he's talking politics and everything that's going on in our country today. Let's talk about the handshake, Grand Mullah. Your thoughts, first of all, about it? It's about 7 months and change now.
I think many people support the handshake if Raila crosses over to this side where we were or where we are all the time. We have no problem with that. But as to whether it changed the dynamics of the country into the future, I think we will wait to see what happens.
Is it too soon?
Nobody knows what the handshake is. It's many of the things, the handshake is one of the many things His Excellency, the President, has initiated, whose ingredient we don't know.
Yeah.
What does it entail? Was it just a handshake between two gentlemen? Was it a handshake that had, a memorandum of understanding attached to it? Was it a handshake that, was just symbolic? There's a lot of things we don't know. Many people read different things into it, but I think one good thing about it is that it lowered the political temperature in the country. The country is more peaceful, the country is more united, and the country has become a one-party state.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this secrecy you talk about is what seems to keep or make the deputy president very uneasy, very uncomfortable about that handshake.
Why not? Why should he not be comfortable? Why should he be, he's very uneasy about it, and rightly so in my view, because we don't know what the handshake entails. If it was just a handshake and Raila walked off the next day, there will have been no problem. But the handshake, Raila hasn't walked off. Raila has come into the house and he has taken his spot in government, sort of. Yeah.
Tell me something. And he upstaged. Raila has upstaged Ruto in this, and Ruto's supposed to be the Machiavellian one, the schemer. Was he upstaged this time?
No, but Raila, give him credit where it's due. Raila is the most consequential politician in Kenya the last 2 decades. You will never see a more consequential. He's the guy who, he creates the narrative, he creates the chaos, he creates the peace. He's more consequential than the 2 last presidents we had in terms of him making history either for the right reason or the wrong reason. Yes.
And you can never rule him out.
You can never rule him. Of course, he has limitations, as we have seen many times. But in terms of moving the ground, he's very consequential. He's very powerful in that regard.
Yeah.
Yes. But the handshake, in my view, taught him one thing, that he can't be president. That's why the handshake came about. Raila has realized there's certain things rather late in life, I think, for him. And that's why the handshake came in the form it did.
Yeah, and it seems like the president and the former prime minister keep saying they have a deeper understanding of what this handshake means. Do they know something we don't?
What is this deep understanding that they never had all these years when they knew one another? But also, we need to know, Uhuru is a man who the electorate gave him mandate. So when you do such kind of deals, he needs to report back to the people who gave him the seat where he is. There are certain things he can't do in a democracy, in my view. There are certain things Uhuru cannot engage without informing the people who voted for him. Yes.
So you're not quite happy with the handshake then?
No,
or the deep understanding?
What is this deep understanding that we don't know first? No, the important thing is that, if there is such a huge change in the directions of the government that the handshake can bring, Uhuru has an obligation to report back to the people who elected him and tell him, you elected me to lead you like this, but there is a change in direction. I will lead you this way. He needs to inform people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, okay, the Uhuru succession.
Yes.
Is it part of this handshake going forward? Or the understanding? Do you think?
The Kenyan constitution is very clear. If you want to run for president, you will run. Each party will bring its candidate. And nobody can force a succession the way, Moi's succession was handled, or the succession of Jomo Kenyatta was handled. This one is different. even if Uhuru says that I have appointed William Ruto to be my successor, there will be other candidates that will run and that may even defeat him. So nobody can impose a candidate to succeed. Uhuru cannot anoint his successor.
Do you think Raila will be on the ballot in 22?
No, there's no chance, in my view.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
What if?
I mean, you will get a fraction of what you got last time, in my view.
And his opponent, will he be Ruto?
Ruto, many people, even many people.
Okay, two-horse race. Raila versus Ruto. 2020.
It depends on the running mate, you know, who's supporting who. There's a lot of dynamics, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of cozying, like a Wiper leader, Kalonzo Musyoka is leaning towards Ruto. So is Wetangula.
I think that game is very far. I mean, we can't know how it will turn. Let's concentrate on the the handshake, the agenda for the big four, those kind of things.
What about a referendum?
You know, the only person who can make a referendum or who cannot make a referendum has not said anything about it, and that is Uhuru. Raila has no say, in my view, whether we'll have a referendum or not. He can't force us to have he can't trigger a referendum. I mean, they tried once, you remember, and they failed because they could not even get, is it the 800 or 1 million votes that was required? They had diagrams instead.
But people are already talking about...
But you see, if Uhuru says we will have a referendum, now Kenyans will listen because as a president, now who is supported by almost everybody, you know, everybody's in his bandwagon. There's shortage of space in that bandwagon. I mean, if Uhuru says we'll have a referendum, then we will go. But Kenyans, you know, I'm a little bit sad. You know, Uhuru has become the most powerful president since independence. He's more powerful than his father. He's more powerful than Moi. He's more powerful than Kibaki.
How so?
Because Uhuru has no opponent. You know, his father had a lot of opponents. Jaramogi was an opponent, KPCU, JM Kriyuki. Moi was 24 hours fighting opponents.
Yeah.
Kibaki had opponents, you know. I mean, Raila and all these other guys, Ruto included that. But Uhuru has no opponents. Raila has come to him through the handshake. Kalonzo Musyoka has come. Wetangula has come. People are fighting to play second fiddle to him.
And yet
he's not taking advantage of this because now that everybody is quiet, I mean, you know, the contest they have is really who is clapping the loudest for them. And Uhuru can do now anything he wants. He can push any agenda he wants. And there's nobody who will oppose him. Even the civil society, and I said many times, most of the civil society are tribal organs that, you know, that push the agenda of their tribal lords. They are all quiet. Have you seen a civil society that's now making noise? They're all quiet.
Everyone's quiet.
Everyone is quiet. Because the people they answer to are quiet.
But has Uhuru killed the opposition as we know it? Is it dead?
Completely. I mean, Kenya we are very close to a one-party state. Yes. Jubilee is a one-party state. Jubilee is a one-party state. But you see, the good thing about this is that this is the time for Uhuru to push hard certain agendas because the whole country is with him. Nobody is opposing him. Yeah. I mean, everybody is with him. It is for him now to say that this is the agenda I want to push, and I will push it hard.
Sort of like Rwanda and Kagame?
Not that extreme. I mean, that's extreme, you know. Kagame is, I mean, Kenya is a democracy, you know. We have a constitution. Those guys, that's not a democracy.
And this is?
This is a democracy. We are
one-party state democracy.
No, we are constitutional democracy. Guys have joined Jubilee. But we are constitutional democracy. I mean, Kenya we are strong. I mean, we need to appreciate this. There are few countries in Africa that have the vibrant constitutional democracy we have. The unfortunate thing is that people have abandoned the opposition instead of being watchdog, instead of being, you know, the party, the loyal opposition. They have joined. It's unfortunate, and I think Uhuru should keep some distance from these people who are coming to...
Yeah, but there's also critics who say maybe we need a benevolent dictator. Benevolent.
What does it mean? What does that mean, benevolent dictator?
It means, you know, someone who cracks the whip and make sure that people toe the line.
No, if all institutions work, you know, Uhuru just needs to give the job to the right people and then expect or audit them in terms of performance. You don't need to crack the whip. I mean, that's what Kibaki we used to do. Kibaki never used to jam around, or Kibaki gives jobs to people and then everybody reports to him in terms of his performance. Yes, and that's what you need to do.
And they said Kibaki, you know, was too quiet or was, you know, hardly did anything.
No, he was very effective. I mean, clearly, he has done a lot for this country. A lot. Delivered a new constitution, implemented the constitution in terms of 2-3 years.
Speaking of new constitution, you're a lawyer. 8 years after we promulgated it. 8 years. Is it time for a referendum?
You see, the constitution needs editing, some editing in terms of some small things. But in terms of changing the basic structure of the constitution, I'm opposed to it. We don't need a referendum that will change the basic structure of the constitution.
What kind of referendum would we need?
No, we need a review of the constitution, in my view, that can be undertaken by Parliament. For example, there are certain things we don't need in terms of certain commissions. I don't see why constitution commissions should be full-time. They should be part-time, like the JEC is. They should not earn salaries, in my view. They should not have cars, in my view. I mean, that's wastage.
What about members of parliament or the Senate or women's reps or MCAs? Reducing those numbers. Punguza mzigo. I mean, it's too heavy, the load.
You see, look at women represent. How many are there? 45? 47?
47.
Times 1 million? How much is that? 47 million a month? Times 12?
I forgot.
It's not it's money. That's a money, but it's not a lot of money.
470, yes, half a billion.
Half a billion. That's money, but it's not a lot of money. Kenyans are wasting money on more useless things.
For example?
Where's the budget? This budget. You know the budget, how much is it? It's 1.7 trillion?
1.3 trillion.
Let's say 1.5 trillion. Eh? Where does it go? 50% is salaries. Why do you spend 50% of your budget on salaries, recurrent expenditure? Why? I mean, if you are a serious government, you will not have that. Why do, like you said, you know, these guys, what are they called? CSs.
Yeah, CASs.
What do they do?
What do they do?
Nothing. You know, I mean, I think I don't blame Uhuru. You know, you see some of them have fallen on hard times. And they were former politicians. He can see them suffering.
So who is he? The savior?
Then he gives them these jobs.
Yeah, to appease them.
Yes, but that's wrong. That's not, you can't run government because you feel sorry.
No, for your friends.
For a friend who has fallen on hard times. Yes. But that is the wastage we stop, rather than 47 women representing 47 counties. That's a wrong way to approach. If you want to stop wastage in the State House, stop wastage in Treasury, stop wastage in the police. Look at the police, how much do they earn? I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, that needs reform in this country.
Yeah.
But you know, this burden, if you want to lessen the burden from the Kenyan taxpayer, it's not by reducing members of parliament or women representative or Senate. Money is lost in useless programs.
What about this talk about a ceremonial president and an executive prime minister?
You know what will happen?
Go on.
The moment you make some of these people who are saying they want to be ceremonial president, they will assume executive powers. There will be a crisis. Haven't we seen people who have sworn themselves for offices?
Yeah.
Now assume you tell guy you are the president, you are ceremonial. Mimi president and Mimi I can't appoint cabinet. You will be you will have a crisis. The concept of parliamentary system with a president who is ceremonial and a prime minister will not work in a country like Kenya, because you will hear certain communities saying that, you know, we are 10 million and we don't have a president or a prime minister. Our votes don't count it. Yeah. There are 100 MPs who are deciding everything. So let's remain one man, one vote.
This referendum that people keep talking about, would it be a dress rehearsal for 2022?
I told you, the referendum will only happen if Uhuru says it will happen.
Do you think it's going to happen?
I don't know really. I mean, I mean, I don't think, it's expensive, you know, it's not necessary. You see, the problem is if we try to amend the constitution, that's a process we have no control of. And that is a process politicians should not drive. The constitutional making process has been Wanjiku based all along. Leave it to Wanjiku. If it's a process that will be determined by Wanjiku, then we will support.
Yeah.
But if it's a process to create an office for someone who has fallen on hard times, someone who wants to retire, someone who is young, you know, that's the mistake we made with the independent constitutions. We tried to fix problems that faced specific individuals through constitutional amendments. And that would be a tragedy in my view.
There's a tweet that you posted a couple of days ago. You said, His Excellency Uhuru doesn't want to amend the constitution and run for a third term, but he has emasculated, humiliated, and cut to size all his political competitors. That if he decides to run for a third term, Raila, Ruto, Kalonzo, Mudavadi, Wetangula will fight over who will spearhead that campaign.
You know, Trump once said that if he goes to Fifth Avenue and shoots someone, nobody will say anything. If today Uhuru gets a gun and shoots people in the streets, Raila, Kalonzo, there will be a stampede, each one saying that Uhuru did it in self-defense. Yes. I mean, that's the state of politics in Kenya. I mean, Uhuru has become, he's a monarch in my view now, because there's nobody who is opposing him. There's nobody who can, and that's, you know, the flip side is that he can do so much, you know. He has so much power and goodwill, you know. Everybody is dancing to his tune, that he can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
One person who can do a lot of things, IEBC, Chiloba Chebukati, that nasty little tiff. What's going on?
It's a Trans-Nzoia fight, you know. I mean, it is, I think it's a clan dynamics, you know. It's a clan dynamics that's played on a national stage.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And what is the state of IEBC right now?
It's there as a commission. I think some members left, you remember? They tried to come back. There was so much outcry that they have gone back to, I think, the woods. But the commission is still there. I mean, I think the government should really appoint, you know, the other members of the commission so that it's fully constituted.
Should it be reconstituted? Is this the window now?
Why do you reconstitute? I mean, just appoint the few guys who have left, the vacancies. Fill the vacancies.
There's no law to appoint them.
Yeah?
There's no law to appoint them.
The law is there. It's there. It's the president to initiate that process, you know.
The law is only for the existing commissioners.
No, no. The law provides for how to appoint a member of the commission when someone retires. So the president needs to start that process.
Goodness. Yeah. Moving forward. Are we going to tweets now? We're going to tweets? Yeah.
Is that the tweets there?
Yeah, the tweets there. But there's one that you tweeted that you said you can buy the prison building for 1.2 B. What was that? Was that? Were you serious?
I'm not a government contractor to have made that money. You know, it's only, you know, the rich Kenyans in this country are those guys who work for government because they just steal the budget.
But you're rich. You're the Grand Mullah, huh? Are you not? Let's get some tweets. Let's get some tweets coming in thick and fast. Thick and fast. Mekamka. Jeff, there is no plan for the Big Four to be set up. For instance, do we have land for the housing or it's another land scandal in the waiting? As Grand Mullah says, no incentive for the SMEs, no report so far on Cuban doctors' medical progress in Kenya, NCPB not paying farmers. Shake my head. SMH, shake my head. Yeah. Waziri 254. Ahmednassir law should advise to the president on the issue of handshake if it's also corruption. What do you mean by that? Ras Ndunda, you say, please, Jeff, ask the Grand Mullah whether he is paid to speak the truth and facts. Most of people come there and start praising their political losses at the expenses of Kenyans. He speaks his mind. I wish we had sober minds and government systems like him. He talks sense. Are you paid to speak the truth and facts?
No, no. Actually, nobody pays me. I speak what is in my mind. The problem is there are many people who are paid to say certain things. But if you can pay your small bills, your expenses, you can be a very free person. And that's who I am. Nobody pays my bills.
Your 250,000 shillings electric bill is a small bill?
No, but you see, those are the grievances Kenyans have against this parastatals, you know. I mean, they're milking us dry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lexus, hello, Wakili. Love the mastery of law you have. Just asking, why did you withdraw from the teachers' union's case? Teachers had high hopes in your representation.
No, we didn't withdraw. The case ended, you know, many years ago.
What do you mean?
I think they're talking about, you know, the case that was there about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
It ended.
It came to an end.
Sami Chisumbai, what percentage does he award Mr. President as far as governance is concerned? What do you give him?
I mean, you know, if His Excellency was watching today and he will listen to my advice, he will concentrate on law and order. Yes. Break, you know, traffic rules, that's the smallest law. And traffic rules observance in this country is less than 2%. If you can't observe traffic rules, people talk about respecting the Constitution. Yeah. They're mad. You can't observe traffic rules. How can you observe the Constitution or any other law?
Correct. You're overlapping.
Yes. I mean, look at ministers, you know. Ministers, they have, you know, the average minister has like 3-4 cars.
Yeah.
You know, one with security, one sitting, one.
We see them in the streets.
Yes, yes. And they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Overlapping.
Overlap. I mean, that shows lack of, if that minister cannot respect the traffic rules, you think he will respect the tender rules in his ministry? No, he will not. And that's why they're all rich.
Overall, what do you give the president in terms of governance out of 100? Overall?
No, very poor. Our governance performance in this country is very poor. Because governance is rule and law. Yeah. It's law and order.
I'm waiting for a number.
No, just say poor.
That's an F.
Just say poor.
That's an EF. Alphonse Musimi, these are SMSs. Do you think the constitutional review will address the main problems facing Kenya? One being the kind of administration inherited from the colonial government, and the other one being the inequality established by the colonization leading to ethnicity, which causes tension and mistrust amongst communities. Wow.
Now, you see, we were talking about wastages, you know. You know, the country is running two systems. There's one system of devolved governments, and then the other system is the old professional administration. I mean, the new constitution, if you read in a proper manner, the professional administration should have disappeared because we have now a devolved unit. Yeah. We have a governor, we have the MCAs, but now we have a parallel system of professional administration.
Yeah. County commissioners.
County commission, all those things. And that's expensive, you know. If you want to cut costs instead of the 47 women representative, that's why to cut costs.
What about 47 counties?
No, they're okay, you know. There are small communities in Kenya that have been liberated by this. Yeah. Everybody's sitting in a small corner. So if you stop it, there will be chaos.
What about, we heard today, the senator from Kericho wants to dissolve Nairobi, wants to make a bill to dissolve Nairobi County. Make it part of like Nigeria or the US.
You see, it's in the constitution. How will he remove that, you know? These are misguided characters. They need to consult lawyers at a small fee. And there are lawyers in Kericho who can do that, consultants, yes.
Yeah, yes. For small fees.
For a small fee.
J.M. Githui in Nairobi says, we have had 4 heads of state. What should each be proud of, and what should each have passed on to his successor?
Those are for historians. I think each has done his best, you know. I mean, I think if you look at all our ex-head of states, they have done their part. They have their failures. They have their achievements. That Kenya is where it is today is a testimony to their achievements, actually, because there are countries that have disappeared.
Yeah. Last one here. Sir Nixon Dugire from Kindaruma. In your opinion, do you find anything wrong in Kenyans doing business with China, or are there control measures to be made? The loans, lots of loans, lots of loans.
No, you see, there's nothing wrong with borrowing money from China. Eh? And in fact, you know, the more you borrow, the better. The only problem why we are borrowing money from China and not from America or England or Germany is because England, Germany, and America, they can't give kickbacks. It's impossible. It's impossible for an American company or a European Union company to give kickbacks. It's impossible. You will be arrested, and the consequences are huge. In China, first, all these corporations are state corporations. So actually, it's the Chinese government giving kickbacks to Kenyan government officials. That's the only problem. If China can address these kickbacks, it's a good, it's an excellent way of getting money.
Is that what's fueling corruption?
Absolutely.
Is that what's destroying us?
Absolutely.
But
because
you say
China can give 10, 20, 15% as kickbacks. And you know how, and the money is not taken through the banking system. The money comes as cargo.
Cash.
Cash. It comes as cargo.
USDs.
It's brought in
containers.
No, it's brought in cargo planes. And it's not a joke. You can ask anybody. Money comes in cargo. That's the only way to export.
That's why this country is so rich.
That's why we have a property boom.
That's why we have a property boom.
There are a lot of, Chinese, there's a lot of corruption they have brought into this country.
What's the solution?
Lifestyle audit. Every government employee should account for the money he has, the hotels he has built, the helicopters he has bought, the house he has. It's that simple. And it's very simple. You can do that in a year. You can do an audit of the entire civil service, judiciary, parliament in a year. You can do an audit.
But they'll be running to you for defense.
No, but we will defend them according to the law. Even when if I sit with someone, assume I sit with a cabinet minister, and then there's 500 million in his account, even as his lawyer, how will you defend? There's nothing. The lawyer is not a magician. You can't turn the investigator to be blind so that he can't see. The lawyer can only defend according to the law. But if there's 500 million in an account, he lives in a house in Mudaiga that he has built for 400 million. Those are things you can't defend. Nobody. We are not magicians as lawyers. Yes.
But you seem to be kind of a magician. You are Houdini.
No, I'm not. We are not. Lawyers are not magicians. Why the corruption, fighting corruption fails in this country is that nobody is serious about that. Yes. It's that simple.
And that could be the president's legacy. Just that one thing. Yes. Corruption. Fighting corruption.
And if he was serious, if Uhuru was very serious about fighting corruption, he would have even given budget for the prisons, because you should have built a lot of prisons, because you should expect that many people will go to prison.
Build more prisons.
Build more prisons.
And welcome more people in there.
Absolutely.
Grand Mullah, always good to see you, man.
My pleasure.
All right.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much.
All the very best, huh? Thank you. Grand Mullah in the house speaking, as always, without fear or favor. He says they are not magicians, the lawyers. He also says, this country, I tell you, corruption is going to kill us. Maybe the president should concentrate on just that. That will remember him forever and ever. And the day. That's the agenda, according to the Grand Mullah. Thanks so much for being a part of JKL. Remember, every Wednesday, it's all about all those three letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. And JK Live is powered by Telkom. Telkom, moving with you. Thanks so much for being a part of this show. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Hot 96. # Jeff and Hamo on Hot. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Good night. Good luck. And happy Mashujaa Day to all you heroes and heroines out there. Good night. Good luck. God bless.